variance. So if all of the dots were like really close together on the side, and they branched off, or went off in different directions on another side, then we'd be concerned about that. But what we see is no correlation, and that's exactly what we want. So if we go ahead and move on over to our analysis of variance, we can crank through that. Because you guys must have like 20 of these things to grade still, and so we're going to be doing the univariate analysis. I'm just going to be looking at y based on factors x and x2a, as they seem like good. One of the optional readings kind of talked about how it was the hypothesis testing with like rules-based system, and one of the things you want to not do is use a full factorial when it's inappropriate to do so. First thing that we want to check for is main effects from our two factors, and then we do want our interaction. But that article kind of talked about you can end up with interactions that don't even make sense if you have lots of independent variables. So we'll keep moving here. Don't need contrast, but we do need some plots. Just one. Add that. Checking that out. And under options, we want descriptive statistics, estimates of effect size, and homogeneity tests. So it's cranking through that. Again, the first thing that's going to pop out is some parameter. Oh no, that's not parameter estimates. It's just the sample size for the groups that we've come up with. Here are parameter estimates down here. And so you can see that these are dichotomous variables, so it's pretty much an all or nothing response, yes, no, present, absent kind of deal. And so as the first one's present, what happens if the other two, or if the other variable is or is not present, and vice versa down here. So we have our means for those groups. And if we scroll down a little further, we come up across Levine's test of equality of variances. I like Levine's test because it's the only one that we want to fail, and it tests the null hypothesis of that there, the null hypothesis is that there is no differences in variance between the different groups, and so we fail to reject that here, and that's exactly what we want to do. If we keep moving down, this chart is going to show us whether or not our model is significant, which it is, so that's cool. And then for simple effects or main effects, we can look at x1 and scroll over and see if that's significant. It is, which is cool. 2 isn't, so there's no main effect there, but we do have an interaction, and an interaction is just an effect that is bigger than just the additive effects of the main effects. And so we can kind of see that down here. If we scroll over to this point, you can see that both, if both of them are absent, and then we add one of the variables, x1, then we get a decrease in the dependent variable. But if they're both present, then we get an increase, which is kind of cool. And so just as far as the F statistic goes, excuse me, not the F statistic, the partial eta squared. These are effect sizes estimates, and those are pretty cool because we're interested in knowing more than whether or not there's a relationship present. We also want to know the magnitude of that relationship. And so Kirk, in his article, kind of talked about how science is really at its best when we're incorporating effect sizes and things like that, because we don't understand we don't understand the world that we're living in if we just know whether or not there's a relationship, not what that relationship actually means. And so the APA, that was another one of the optional readings, was a response to the APA manual, the 5th edition, where they said, hey, you should include effect sizes, and they didn't really give examples, so people couldn't really follow it, and that was a big bummer. But as far as kind of the take-home message, we do have a main effect, and we do have an interaction, and so that's something worth celebrating. So this has been Module Time with John, and thank you guys for listening and for a great semester. Please let this file save because it didn't like 3 times.